What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Golf on Tap. I know we just had a show coming out yesterday, but with the quick turnaround this week for the 2024 Farmers Insurance Open, another show coming to you the very next day to talk about our final bets for this event. As the first three tournaments of the year, yes, they produced some good finishes, some excellent winners as well, but this is kind of really when it feels like the start of the season really gets going. We got obviously Torrey Pines this week with the Farmers Insurance Open, Pebble Beach the following week, Waste Management after that during the Super Bowl, and then the Genesis Invitational after that, where we'll see Tiger Woods make his first start of the season as well. So a good stretch of golf coming up. Thanks everyone again for checking out the show and for tuning in. Make sure to hop into the YouTube feed of this so you can interact with us and go and comment your picks this week at the Farmers Insurance Open down below. Love to always see what the audience is feeling, what you guys are tailing and everything out there. So make sure to go do that and make sure to go show some love to the On Tap Golf account on X by following there. As for me, I'm Jack Bushman, back with my boy Joey Ricotta. Go and give him a follow on X as well at Joey Knows Nothing. Joey, with the big boy feel coming back to the PGA Tour this week. It's nice to get back with you and to be talking bets, brother. How we doing this week?
Awesome, man. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back. A little brief stint off here from the show, but it's always good to be talking golf with you and talking bets. And, when you put it that way, that's something I have heard a few times this week. And I never actually put that together, that this week feels like the real start of the golf season. And it always really does. I mean, we do have a nice little stretch here coming up. And I'm really excited for the Farmers Insurance because, as you can see in my tagline there, we know whose course this is. So, I'm excited for this week, Jack.
Yeah, I didn't really have to think too hard about who was going to be on your betting card this week. I knew there was going to be one spot reserved for a special somebody, but a really good field this week on top of Torrey Pines just being such an iconic venue, right? Goes kind of hand in hand with Tiger Woods. They'll always be synonymous with one another, I feel like, based on Tiger's 8 wins there in his career and also the 2008 U.S. Open with the birdie on the 72nd hole going to beat Rocco in the Monday playoff on a broken leg. It's an infamous type of track. And Joey, we will bet on tournaments each and every week, regardless of what type of event they are. But this is really our bread and butter, baby. This is what we like to dive into. This is what we like to watch. And from what I'm hearing this week, Torrey Pines is going to play even more difficult than usual because of some of the rain potentially in the Southern California area that's going to be growing that fairway and greenside rough up a bunch. So there could be some carnage this week at Torrey Pines. And that's what we always love, baby, is when these players are truly tested. And we haven't gotten that this year yet. We're going to be getting it this week, my man.
Yeah, let's see some difficult scores. Difficult scoring conditions. I don't like seeing the scores in the high 20s, the low 30s, the choke jobs down the stretch there when they should easily be capping it off their day. Sam Burns. Sorry. Well, you didn't bet him, though. You didn't bet him. You thought about it.
I wanted to, but glad I didn't.
Yeah, you dodged a real bullet there. And you guys talked about it, I'm sure, on last night's show a lot. But, man, what a story from Mr. Nick Dunlap. I mean, just real quickly, I was watching, obviously, on Sunday and, getting to see his coach out there, super pumped up. And the boys, you get the video from, his college teammates or college buddies, and they're just amped up for him. And did you guys talk a little bit about what do you think his decision is? I mean, is it even a decision? Is he turning pro? I feel like that seems to be the consensus thought. Did he already make his decision? I wasn't aware if he has.
No, he has not made his decision as of yet. We talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday. There are pros and cons to both sides, and I really feel like there's not a wrong choice here. It's just kind of what Nick Dunlap personally feels like doing and where kind of his heart leads him to. Both sides are appealing, right? You can go and turn pro. You're in all of the signature events. You get to go and gear up against the best in the world and actually go and make money for your performances, which he unfortunately didn't get to do with his win this week. But just go in.
Such a crime, man. Such a crime.
Unless you're Christian Bezuidenhout, he's not arguing about that one bit as he walked away with the first place prize, finishing solo second last week.
Yeah, no, he's not.
But for Nick, yeah, I'm sure it's appealing to go and chase the money and go and really test yourself right out of the gate against the best players in the world. At the same point in time, though, he is already in the U.S. Open. He's in the Masters. I believe he's in the Open as well. So I think he's in 3 of the 4 major championships. And he's going to be making a good amount of money with his NIL deal. And Alabama Golf has something special going on down there right now. And I know based on the video that we saw too, there's some real good team camaraderie. So not exactly sure if Nick wants to be leaving that just yet, but there's going to be both sides kind of pulling him in that direction. It's going to be fascinating one way or the other, which he ends up deciding to do. But potentially him withdrawing from the Farmers this week. I know it's a quick turnaround, so maybe it doesn't give you any insight into what he's thinking, but I think it also does show that he's at least considering going back to college more so than maybe some people expect.
Or here's the other side of it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Let's hear it.
He's a college kid and he's fucking partying his ass off right now with his friends.
That's what I'd be doing, and I'd be going and giving Mr. Greg Norman a call, a little buzz skeet at 2 a.m. Hey, Greggy, I want 100 mil. I want 100 mil, Greggy. And he'd probably do it. So I don't know if that's a little path that Nick Dunlap wants to take. And before we move on to the Farmers, I will say there is a lure to live golf for these amateurs. It's guaranteed money up front. And yes, Nick Dunlap is a stud, and he has done things that only Tiger Woods has done. There's no guarantee moving forward as to how much money he's going to make throughout his career. So an offer of $100 million up front from Liv when he's already into the Masters and US Open, I know it's only this year, so that could lead to some future repercussions, but it definitely has to be intriguing.
It's tempting. I mean, how are you not tempted? I'd be looking at that money like, I mean, for all the stuff that we talk about with Rahm, we have talked about, at least in the past, about, well, how could you do this? Like, we understand. Money talks.
Always
money
has,
talks.
Always will.
Especially for a young kid who's like, you're setting up your entire future, your future's future, your future's future. Like, there's a lot to be said about, $100 million or however much money you're going to get. But I didn't really want to steer this conversation that way. Just kind of my thoughts just kind of came out while we were into it. But, I know what we're here for. We're here to talk bets and talk about who we like this week and who our one and dones are and all that. So, yeah, man, what like a quick preview or summary of what your takeaways are for Torrey Pines, because obviously we have the North and South course, most of it being on the South, more difficult course, but and we see this course every year, but what were you guys talking about last night, and what are your main takeaways, what you're looking for some outright bets here?
Hey, the one thing I will say is we're probably going to be placing wagers on Nick Dunlap not too far in the future, one way or the other. So it is still very relevant, my friend. But Torrey Pines South, baby, just it is what I love in golf courses, and it's what I wish the PGA Tour players would face week in and week out. And I know that's unrealistic. I know that's not going to happen, but I just love these demanding tee to green beasts of golf courses, and that's what we're getting this week in Torrey Pines, man. Narrow fairways, super long course, over 7,700 yards, one of the longest, if not the longest course on the schedule this season. Only the major championships could potentially be longer based on their setups. The par fours, 10 of them, 7 longer than 450 yards, only 1 shorter than 425. 3 of the 4 par threes are up over 200. 2 of the 4 par fives are over 600. All 3 are up over 570. So it's just long, man. And I think it's going to be really key for the 175 to 200 plus proximity range, just because the vast majority of approach shots on the South course are going to be coming there. Also, kind of a bomber's paradise, I think, this week, Joey, even more so a major championship type of feel, because like I mentioned, there has been heavy rain in the Southern California areas, and that Kikuyu grass rough that they have at Torrey Pines was already expected to be 4 inches rough. I saw comments today from Max Homa saying it's going to be absolutely brutal out there. So it sounds like the long and straight off the tee route is going to be most preferable. But if I had to choose distance or accuracy, I'd probably choose distance, just because, Joey, the fairways are so narrow here. They're going to be hard to hit from the get-go. Like, they're going to be tough as it is to hit them regardless. So if you could hit it farther, I think a lot of approach shots are going to be coming out of the rough this week. So if you hit it further, at least you'll minimize some of the distance that you have in. But something that's also worth noting is the POA green complexes that are at the South Course. We don't see a lot of PGA Tour events have POA grass green complexes, mostly here in California, but they're bumpier than usual, just tougher to get a feel on. And I actually saw, in terms of the average make percentage in normal PGA Tour events, putts from 4 to 9 feet and 9 to 15 feet on the South Course are some of the toughest to make on the PGA Tour schedule. So putting is really hard here. Everything's just really hard, man. You got to have the major championship game. You got to have all parts going, because you're going to get tested. You're going to find yourself in tricky spots, and you're going to have to get up and down and avoid making a big number. So that's really the path to contending this week, I think, is being really good from tee to green, finding ways to claw out pars on the par fours, maybe pick up birdies every now and then, and really birdie the par fives, just because there aren't many scoring opportunities through the 3 rounds here. And then, of course, there is going to be 1 round held at the North Course, just because we're still in course rotation season, but this one's the best out of the 3 that we have here in this consecutive
Easily.
stretch. Yeah, for sure. Next week at Pebble Beach, we get 3 again, which is just outrageous. But all 156 golfers in the field will alternate between the 2 courses on Thursday and Friday. And then the weekend, which is Friday and Saturday for this event, not Saturday and Sunday, don't forget that, will be held strictly on the South Course. So 3 of the 4 rounds on the South Course. What I did, an interesting tidbit too, before we kind of get into the betting board here, Joey, some stats, potential correlating stats, or little nuggets that I have found. Out of the last 5 winners of this event, all of them have shot 68 or better in their 1 round on the North Course. So it's just really key to take advantage of opportunities there, because it's so much easier than the South Course, man. It's 500 yards shorter and just provides much more scoring opportunities, and is far less strenuous. So it's really, really crucial to go low on that course when you get it, because you're just not going to get many scoring chances otherwise. And then also, out of the last 5 winners, all 5 of them have played at least once coming into this event. In terms of the first 3 starts of the year, they've teed it up at least once. And out of the last 5 winners as well, all of them have either had a top 10 finish the year prior at Torrey Pines, at Murfield Village, or at Riviera. So just similar types of tracks like this, some of the hardest non-major courses on the schedule. Kind of just an interesting little nugget. Guys who usually fare well at those the year prior kind of show that they're still in good form to go and do it again at this event. So those are kind of the things that I'm looking at when breaking down Torrey Pines this week.
Interesting. Very interesting that you brought up those courses. I think that this week, just based off of what you were saying about like Max Homa's comments and Keegan Bradley, I think you had actually retweeted that, and it was him and Homa talking about it, right?
Yeah.
That's just, it feels like this is going to play, and it's already one of the more difficult courses I think on tour, but it does sound like it's going to play more like an Open this week, which is great. That's fantastic. I think this is what we look forward to. It's not a major by label, but if it has that major feel to it, that's only going to bring the intensity and up the excitement from a fan perspective. And for a betting standpoint, super tough to pinpoint, but like I actually appreciate these a little bit more, because I think the data points are more relevant on courses like this. Like when you're looking at some of those wonky accuracy type of courses that we do pretty much every week, it just does get a little bit more wonky. You're relying more on putting and things like that, which, that's one of the things that I am looking at this week is experience, because I think guys with experience here tend to perform a lot better, and they putt. They know how to putt here. That's the one thing. Bogey avoidance, crucial. You talked about not killing yourself, staying like relevant basically, and then taking advantage of the birdies, which is always the case. But I was looking too, and I saw that 8 of the last 9 winners at Torrey Pines, including each of the last 6 winners, have played at least 6 events here. Oh. So that's something that I would really took into account when I was looking at my board. And then looking at the past winners, you see some guys kind of doubling up here, or at least in contention quite often if they're not winning it twice. I mean, Jason Day's got 2 wins here, 2018, 2015. Last year's winner, Max Homa. You got Luke List, as you pointed out to me. Hey, you called it a couple years ago, and I got that outright win in 2022 with Luke List. Listen to me. I said I got the outright win. Luke List got the outright win. I just benefited from it.
You made the putt. You made the putt in the playoff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I made the putt in the playoff. I did it at what was the most recent tournament that he just won in the fall?
Oh, the Sanderson.
The Sanderson. Yeah, that was when Ben Griffin choked it away in the 16th and 18th hole. That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. There's been a lot of choke jobs this year. Hey, golfing on Sunday's hard, which is why it's even more impressive Nick Dunlap did what he did, man. It's
Dude,
incredible.
clutch. And I'll be the first to say, you know this, because I was texting with you during that final round. And earlier in the round, I was like, yeah, it's probably only a matter of time. I think he's done. I think it's going to be a playoff between – who was I saying at the time? Was it Minwoo? Or no?
I think it was Kevin Yu. I think it was you.
Kevin Yu, my bad. I don't know why I said Minwoo. Kevin Yu and Sam Burns is what I thought it might come down to, I think.
Now I'm really hoping there one day is going to be a Minwoo Lee on the tour.
Minwoo Lee, dude, sounds like it could be a name. I mean, I don't know, dude. There's like so many. It's Kevin Yu, Kevin Wu. Like I can't keep track of like the names sometimes. You just have to really put in the research.
There's Dylan Wu, there's Brandon Wu, there's Kevin Yu. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of different names in the bucket there. Patrick Reed won in 2021. Mark Leishman won in 2020. Justin Rose, of course, who is here. So yeah, I mean, but like I was saying, experience is going to be, I think, one of the main takeaways for me here, and that's not always the case because I think sometimes we tend to look at metrics and numbers and who would be a good course fit. I still think that's relevant here. But I think if you're not somebody who has, like, if you have less than, I would say 4 years of experience, 3 years of experience, I'm going to be less likely to bet you this week. And I still might. Like, it just depends on what your form and stuff is, but less likely this week, Jack.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I also saw something. 13 of the last 15 winners have previously posted a top 10 here. So again, it's not to say that it can't be done. John Rahm did it. So like someone with the talent like a Ludwig Aubert certainly can go out and do it. It's just showing you what the recent trends suggest. And yeah, I do believe course history and just history in events like this is going to be really important.
Absolutely, man. With that said, maybe we should look at the top of the board with our sponsor, Bet Rivers. Enter the promo code ONTAP for an up to $250 deposit match. That's promo code ONTAP for an up to $250 deposit match. Jack, what do you say? You want to get into this nasty, probably mispriced board?
Yeah, I'm not very happy about it, my guy. And no sports books are offering like the old plus 300 boost or anything. Like, throw the boys a bone. This odds board is absolutely disgusting for a night before the tournament's about to start. It's like, golly, we got 13 guys below 30 to 1.
Yeah, where are those plus 250, plus 300 like little boosts on certain books? We're not even seeing that. I don't understand.
I know, I need them. And you would think like this is an event that's running Wednesday to Saturday. It's not going head to head with football whatsoever, NFL or college. It's a good field. It's a good course, a good event. Like people are going to be watching this. Like people, out of all the weeks so far that we've had this season, this is going to be the one where people are inclined to bet it the most. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing that they're doing us loyal betting fans pretty shitty like that.
Yeah, not only that, Jack, but I had it on 2 different books. I had to, now you know me, I like the super price match, and I know you price shop. That's what you're supposed to do. I got 6 or 7 different books in rotation at all times. Like, and if I'm lower on one and higher on the other, I just swap money over and just keep it moving. That's what I do. But on 2 different books I saw it, Jack, they had the golf and PGA options just to even look at the betting boards hidden. I had to go to the all sports or the search menu just to find the PGA or the golf. That's how you know. That's how disrespectful. That's how much the books this week and really some other weeks too, are just disrespecting the game of golf and how much money they can generate sports books. Like, what are you kidding me? You can definitely, they're making a ton of money off golf. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I don't understand. They're making a bunch of money off of guys like Cameron Young. I was thinking about this the other day, Joey. I was trying to wonder how much money Cameron Young has made sports books, because he's under 40 to 1 every week. Guys have to throw a pretty decent amount of change on him to win something. And the guy's won nothing. He's never won on the DP World Tour, never won on the PGA Tour. I'm like, golly, Cam Young's made the sports books some good Skrilla.
People have been obsessed. It was just like Victor. It was it was Will Zalatoris for a while. When is he going to win? When is he going to win? How much money did they make off of people betting Willie Z every week? And then, who was the other? Was it Vic? Vic for a while. People just continually. You were one of them. I mean, I was one of them too. It's at one point. Willie Z, of course, got all of us at one point, but they paid off in the long run, I think. So we're not really complaining that much, but sorry for the people that weren't on them the weeks that they won. But nonetheless, Jack, you want to look at the top of the board here?
Yeah, let's get into it. Good top.
All right. X-Man, Xander Schauffele, plus 800. We have Patrick Cantlay, 10 to 1. And by the way, like I said, this is the Bet Rivers enhanced odds part of their board, because why would you take the regular odds when they're going to give you enhanced odds? Just doesn't make sense. Xander Schauffele, plus 800. 10 to 1 is Patrick Cantlay. 10 to 1 is Max Homa. 11 to 1, Colin Morikawa. And then the last guy right there before that 20 to 1 range is Sungjae Im at 18 to 1. So are you starting up here, Jack? I mean, we probably got to talk about some of these guys here, but yeah, what do you see? Do you like anybody up here?
Yeah, the conversation certainly starts here for me. And by the way, I don't know if maybe your enhanced offers are different than mine. Mine are a little bit better than what you just listed off. I got Xander at 9, Cantlay at 11, Morikawa at 12. Still not great. I mean,
you know what? Nope, I screwed up. I didn't actually click over to the enhanced side. So
you're all good, brother. But yeah, so it's Xander at 9, Cantlay at 11, Morikawa 12, Homa 13, Sungjae 19. But I think the conversation absolutely has to start here. And all of these guys are pretty intriguing, right? Like Xander's a San Diego guy, doesn't maybe have the best track record at this course, but has figured it out here a little bit as of late, and just is coming off a phenomenal Sunday at the Amex where he almost chased down Nick Dunlap. So it does make sense for him to be the betting favorite, and why I could see people taking him. Patrick Cantlay, another San Diego guy. Morikawa and Homa are the same as well. Morikawa has been playing really good, snapped his win drought in the fall and had a top 5 at the Century. Homa won the Nedbank on the DP World Tour in late November and has 2 decent starts to start off the new year. And then Sungjae set the birdie record at the Century to kick off the new season. So a lot of good golfers up here, but to me, the two that I'm eyeing the most are Colin Morikawa and Max Homa. Morikawa actually came out number 1 in my model this week, and Max Homa came out at number 3. I'll start with Kawa, just playing fantastic golf as of right now. Nothing's changed with the irons. We know what he can do there. And he's fantastic from both 175 to 200 and 200 plus, has great course history on both Murfield Village and the Genesis, a California guy that knows how to putt on POA and has been putting a little bit better lately. And the scrambling has actually been really good for Colin Morikawa too. So a lot of reasons to like him. And Max Homa is just the king of California, man. 5 of his 6 PGA Tour wins here in California. He's defended a title in Cali before as well at the Fortinet, trying to do the same here this week. All his numbers look good to start off the new year. The only downside is he's kind of putted like shit to kick off the new season, but we're now heading to California where he grew up on the POA greens. We know he's more comfortable on those surfaces and can get hot enough to go and capture the victory. So to me, it's Morikawa and Homa at the top of the board. I don't have any official bets in, and I have a feeling I know what I'm going to be doing in terms of how I'm going to break down my card, but I'm not going to let you know how I'm going to do it until the end of the show, if that is officially the way that I'm going to do it. But Morikawa and Homa are the two that I'm looking for here at the top.
Tough decisions up here, man. It really is. And those are the 3 names that I looked at too. Was the X-Man, being the hometown kid. He's got a lot of familiarity out here. He's had his ups and downs, I think, here up until recently. But T3 at the Amex, finding it at the right time, I think, too, is for Schauffele. So I understand why he's priced where he is, and I don't really blame anyone that's going to want to jump on that, even at a number that you don't normally like. Morikawa, I mean, you mentioned, the approach right there, right, with the irons. Like, I feel like he's a guy, the second shot course type of master, like the long approach shots over 200 yards. Like, he's the guy that can get it in there and just like right next to the hole. So I really think that Morikawa makes a ton of sense here. Homa, obviously the defending champ, so won't steer you out of any of those names. And I was kind of debating whether I wanted to pull the trigger. As of now, Jack, I don't have any of these guys because I like the way things are trending. And I know this is a different week. This is the week where you probably aren't going to see a long shot type of winner because this is more of a, major type of tournament feel to it. This is a better tournament for, like, the guys that we expect to do well are probably going to do well. And one of those guys are probably going to win the tournament. But I do like the trend. I mean, we've seen 3 long shots this season already. And I mean, you can't really predict this stuff. It's not like I'm predicting another long shot this week. But at the same time, like, maybe I'm just getting greedy here. But the one name that I love the most is priced underneath these guys. So I'm just gonna kind of bypass this top and just start there at the price that I feel a little bit better about. The golfer I feel the best about. So I went completely off this range.
Hey, stick to your guns. I understand it. One thing I do want to say real quick before we get to this next range, I mentioned when breaking down Torrey Pines, out of the last 5 winners, they each had a pair of top 10s the year prior at either Torrey Pines, this event, Murfield Village, the Memorial, or Riviera, the Genesis. Here are the list of the 8 players that are in the field this week that did that last year. Just think I should bring this up. Doesn't mean one of these 8 guys is going to win, but the trends suggest it. Colin Morikawa, Max Homa, Sahith Theegala, Jason Day, Hideki, Luke List, and Sam Ryder. That's it. Those are the only guys who have done that. So just thought I'd put that out there before we go and get into that next range.
I love that. And you just made me real happy about who I'm betting this week. And I'll tell you why in a second. But, Jack, we should probably look at the rest here, starting at the 21-1 range. Ludwig Aberg, Luddy F. Baby, Min Woo Lee, the real Min Woo Lee, 22-1. Jason Day's numbers come way down. He's 28-1. Tony Finau is 28-1. And then starting at that 30 tier, Keegan Bradley, 30-1. Sahith Theegala, 30-1. So, Jack, you mentioned Jason Day. You mentioned Sahith Theegala. Those are 2 guys. I mean, first of all, I want to hear your thoughts because I'm on Jason Day. So I want to know if this is the week where, like, we're changing the tune from, oh, it's a beautiful day to it's a beautiful day. And you too are betting Jason Day this week.
This whole range, man, is really intriguing to me other than Tony Finau. And I would understand why Finau is intriguing based on his course history that he has here and in California. But Luddy, like, drives it straight and long. Really good with his long irons, like, kind of sounds perfect for this place. Although I would prefer him to have some experience or to at least have played in a major championship. Like, he really hasn't seen a golf course like this on the PGA Tour. Min Woo Lee, I was on him last week, and this feels like a better setup for him. So it's tough for me maybe to not bet him again this week. Jason Day could be the second. He could be like the prince of Torrey Pines if Tiger Woods is the king based on what he's done here. So that's obviously intriguing. And I mentioned he fit into that stat profile. Keegan, a guy who's got a chip on his shoulder, probably should have won at Sony, but just didn't have his best stuff on Sunday, but had a second place finish here last year and had a chance to win playing the 72nd hole. And then Sahith Theegala, California killer, won his first PGA Tour event at the Fortinet in the fall, finished T6 here last year as well. Like, these are all very good golfers, and I could see myself going towards all of them. But the ones that I think pulled me toward them the most, I would say, are Jason Day and Sahith Theegala. Day is just good here year after year, man. And I don't love the form that he's in right now. If I'm being honest, I had him last week at the Amex and I didn't love what he put together, but this is undoubtedly a place that he feels comfortable at. And then Sahith, man, it just feels like we're really on the edge of a big time Sahith year. But the one thing I will say with him is I've always had a really hard time handicapping him, as I feel like a lot of other people have, because there's a lot of variance with how wayward he can get off the tee, which is kind of the true weakness and flaw in his game. And that could prove costly here, but I know he's got the short game and the long irons to get himself out of Dodge. So yeah, Day and Theegala are probably the leans for me, but man, if all of these guys had better numbers, like I could really make a case for all of them.
Absolutely. And I will say those are the two guys that I'm betting in this range.
Look at that.
Yeah, so it's exactly those are the two I'm on. 28-1 Jason Day. I hate that he fell below that 30 number because he was at 30-1 and I didn't bet him when he was there, and then he got hammered down. Sahith also got cut down quite a bit. I did bet him at 35-1 on a different book. Sorry, Bet Rivers, had to do it to you.
I know there's 33s out there on Sahith too, for people wondering.
Yeah, there's some 33s. There might be one or two still 35s out there, so just look around, keep an eye out. T4 last year at this event, T25 the year before, only 2 events here so far. So that's the one worry, but born in Cali, grew up playing on the West Coast, POA, really put the lights out last year, 17th in strokes gained putting, obviously has enough distance, I think. And I think generally it is tough to cap him, but the places where he has shown success at, he will turn in at least a good enough outing tournament. So maybe not win the tournament, but at least he's going to put forth a pretty good effort the following year, I think. And so Sahith, this is definitely a spot where I'm going to, and you know me, I don't usually bet him.
Yeah, no, you don't.
So this is, I do like Sahith this week for sure.
But I understand it completely.
So as we move down here, man, our boy, Eric Cole, 35-1.
He's going to win this year. He is, and I think it's going to happen in Florida. It's coming. Eric Cole is going to win, man.
I was so tempted to just ride the hot hand. I think he's going to win for sure this year. I agree. I was so tempted to ride the hot hand this week and bet him. And then, when we were looking at what we were looking at and talking about just as we started this show about the numbers of, recent winners playing so many events here before they actually win. He hasn't played. He hasn't played here much at all. I mean, I feel like he's right on the brink. He's no worse than T21 this month in 3 events. I think the experience really matters here. So I had to stop myself from doing it. I really did. I wanted to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned with his driver on a course like this. His driver has been better though. But yeah, I do worry about his off the tee game a little bit, but I completely agree. I think he's going to win. And if I had to guess, I really think he's going to win at PGA West, which is when he was in that playoff with Chris Kirk last year. I think that's a perfect spot for Eric Cole. I've always kind of envisioned him as, even though I know he played a ton on the mini tours, and usually those are birdie fest where you have to be like shooting 6 or 7 under per round to be in contention. I still don't think a true like 26, 27 under is going to be where Eric Cole wins. I think he's going to win a tournament that's a little harder than that. That's at like 17, 18 maybe, or maybe even a little bit lower. And I think PGA West could be that spot. So yeah, expecting big things from Cole. I just don't think I can bet him at this type of event.
The distance concerns are definitely fair and warranted though here. He's a good all-around golfer. He just doesn't quite have the length that you'd like to see at a course like this. So I do get that as well. And yeah, maybe you're right. We'll look back on this episode if that's where he gets his first win at for sure. As like, that's a Jack calling right there. Harris English, 45-1. Nikolai Højgaard is 45-1. Sepp Straka, 50-1. Hideki Matsuyama, mentioned him, 55-1. And then you got Justin Rose and Willie Z, both 60-1. Willie Z, man, I don't really want to start there, but kind of want your thoughts. I feel like he's just not quite back yet.
Yeah, I'm not ready to hop aboard. I was encouraged what I saw last week after he made the cut, and his first outing at Sony wasn't great. His first round was pretty brutal, but nice to see him trending in the right direction. And I fully expect Willie Z at some point in time to get back to a spot where I'm gonna love throwing money down on that boy. I just don't think it's here yet, even though he has some really good history. I'd like to see him contend or at least have like a top 20 or something, just a little bit more than what he has right now. And that's not to say he can't do it, man. I know the talent Willie Z has. You're looking at a guy that bets him at every major championship. Like, I get it. It's just a little bit too early for me for Will Z. But quite honestly, maybe this is foolish of me, Joey. This is where the line's starting to draw for me, man. And I know
we've been
getting, I don't want to say I'm done because I don't have anything finished yet, but I really feel like we are going to get a big dog winner for the first time this year. This is just an event where I think there's going to be less variance, and I just think we're going to see one of the studs rise to the top. So this is where the line starts to draw for me in terms of interest. I will say Harris English is someone who's been, I think he might be the most bet guy this week. His number got smashed down as well, which I certainly understand. A guy who quietly has played well in some of the hardest tournaments in all of golf and looks like he's now back to proper form after that back injury that really plagued him a few seasons ago. So I get the Harris love. To me, the one that I would bet, and I don't really love it, but there's a 70 out there on Hideki Matsuyama. And look, I know he's not playing great, Joey. He actually
it's a good spot for him, though. This is a really good spot.
He doesn't have a top 10 since the Players last year. It's been almost a full year since Hideki even contended. So I don't love that, but he is a horse for this course and someone who usually plays these types of events well. So yeah, maybe Hideki at 70, someone I could get after. I know Rose is a past champion, but I bet him at Sony and he looked like a lost fucking puppy out there. So I really have no interest in Justin Rose. I know there's hundreds out there on Justin Rose too, because no one and their mother has wanted to bet him. So there are some bigger numbers out there on some of these guys, just not very many on many of them. But to me in this range, it's Hideki, no one else really.
Yeah, see, I can't do the decky thing, but this would be a good week to jump back in. I just don't trust him, and you made all the points for me. He just hasn't been contending at all.
I have zero trust in Hideki. The volatility, he could shoot 18 over, he could shoot 13 under. Like, he's just one of those guys. He could WD on the second hole and his weekend's over. Like, he'll do that.
He does that. But you did mention someone who, like I said earlier, this is very much a tournament and an event where you got to be in some decent form, of course, but like of a spot where golfers, if you've won it before, you feel pretty good or you have consistent showings here. And you mentioned him. You see his price tag anywhere from 50 to 1 to 100 to 1. Right now, check out PointsBet. Shout out to another book. Sorry. They had a power hour going and he was 100 to 1 over there. So check that out. He might be somewhere else as well. But Justin Rose, not his best golf right now. He's not really on his game. He'd be the first to tell you that, obviously. It hasn't been awful. Still making cuts. He's still making cuts. It hasn't been terrible. The history here, though. Here's his last 6 Farmers Insurance events, Jack, in order, starting with last year's most recent. T18, T6, cut, a miscut, excuse me, a victory, a T8, and a T4. So 4 out of the 6 were top 10s, 5 out of the 6 were top 20s, and then the victory. So I really think that Justin Rose, if you're going to toss out 100 to 1 number on somebody with that kind of stretch here at this event and this course, I'm in, man. I have to be. He's got the talent. He's got the he knows how to win when he gets in that position. So I like it.
Yeah, 100 to 1, completely different bet from 60 to 1. Completely different. I would consider 100 to 1. But even then, there are some guys down here right around the 75 to 100 range that are catching my eye as well.
Yeah, there's some really good names actually right in this bucket. Shane Lowry is 66 to 1. Meronk is 66. Daniel Berger, obviously a big name there, 70 to 1. Bo Hostler, 70 to 1. Luke List, Patrick Rogers, 75 to 1. lot of interest right here in just this range alone, Jack. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Adrian Meronk is a stud over on the DP World Tour and probably should have made the Ryder Cup team this year. He was the one who probably was snubbed the most off of that team. But yeah, just finished runner-up to Rory last weekend in Dubai. Has, I want to say, 3 top 15s in a row over on the DP World Tour, and he can absolutely bomb it. He is like 6'5". He's a big dude, and he can hit the ball a long way. Would like him, though, to have some course history, but I do think he's intriguing. The two names for me in this range, Luke List, former champion here, who actually has been putting really well, dude. It's really, until the Sony. He actually putted terribly at the Sony. I think he lost 7 strokes at the Sony. But Luke List will do that. Luke List will do that. But he is someone who plays this course really well and fell into that category of 2 top 10s at the 3 events last year that I mentioned. So Luke List, when he's putting like that, it's hard to pass him up. And I think there are still some 80s or 90s out there on him at certain books. So that was a name that stood out to me. And I don't think I'm actually going to bet this one, but Patrick Rodgers kind of makes sense. He has a top 10 here in the past as well. And a California guy, Stanford guy who was kind of, I don't want to say he was compared to Tiger, but broke some of Tiger's records in college and was considered a very high-end prospect at a young age, but hasn't found his way yet on the PGA Tour and still looking for that first victory. Nearly had it at the Barracuda where he lost to Akshay last summer. But this seems like it could be a good spot for Patrick Rodgers. And if you want to buy into all the cool stories that are going around to kind of start off the year, Patrick Rodgers winning at Torrey Pines would be a very cool story. Cool stories don't always end up paying out, but I do think there are some other reasons to be on Patrick Rodgers this week besides that. So those are the 2 guys that I was looking at here in this pocket.
It's going to sound like I'm just copying it at this point because you're making all the points for me and picking the guys that I want to. So we're very much in agreement this week, my friend. Luke List 75-1 treated me very well at this tournament in the past, but he has the experience, distance off the tee, T40 or better in each of his last 6 trips here. Last year, 9th in strokes gain off the tee, 23rd in distance. We've seen repeat winners here. Like I said, I'm not going to shy away with this kind of a large number at 75-1 or wherever you can get it at. That's where I bet. T14 at the Century last year for Patrick Rodgers. This year, just recently, T14 at the Century. T24 at the Sony Open. Took last week off. Missed the cut last year here, but 8 events, 2 top 10s. Accuracy, I think that might be an issue. But he can hit it far, and he's been one of the top bogey avoidance guys so far this year for Patrick Rodgers. So, we pretty much said it. Don't make the mistakes, and then the accuracy might not really be that much of an issue if you can at least if you can hit it pretty far. So I like Rodgers. I like List this week. That 75-1 or better number. I think Rodgers slightly better number, right? I don't know what his number's at right now. Rivers has it at 75-1, but I don't know if there's a better number out there. There might be.
Both of those guys, I think you can find at slightly better numbers out there. One last thing I do have on List for you. I don't know if you already have them in or if you're planning to, but I'm looking at his numbers right here at Torrey Pines in the past. Outside of his debut here in 2013, he's gained at least 2 strokes in the ball striking categories every time he's played here. You're just literally hoping to get him on a good putter. He's only gained strokes twice on the greens here, and I think this is 8 career starts, but both of those gains have been over 3.5 strokes. So just hoping you catch Luke List on one of those weeks. And hey, has been putting a lot better since the start of the fall.
He's such an odd duck that way, man. Like, I feel like we could say this about him so many different weeks, or if he just had a putter at all. But just as long as it's not atrocious and it's like a decent putter, though, he's got a realistic shot, I think.
I saw a crazy, hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. I think it was at Riviera. I think it was a crazy Luke List stat, I want to say, at Riviera. Here, this is a crazy, only Luke List can do this type of stat. Luke List, last year at the Genesis Invitational, finished T29. He gained 11.3 strokes on approach, Joey. 11.3, maybe the best of his career, had to be the best in the field. He lost 7.1 strokes putting and finished T29. Gained 13 strokes in the ball striking categories, lost 10 in a short game.
That's disgusting.
It's Luke List in a nutshell, man. Just hope that doesn't happen.
No, let's hope not, dude, because I think you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to be on next week's show just so I can bitch about it. If that happens, actually, you don't want me on that. You don't want me on that.
I'll be on vacation. I don't know if a show's happening next week. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, there you go. I honestly forgot that that already came up. Like we were talking about this months ago, and that already kind of snuck up. Like that's very fast.
I know.
We got a comment here from Braden Costner. Who would y'all's end of round 1 picks be? North course and South course. He says NC and SC. So,
I'll get back.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I have to look at who's at each course because, quite honestly, I haven't looked at who's starting where exactly yet. But I know they have the lines listed for first round leader.
That's something that you were dabbling in a little bit last year, and then I think we both kind of looked at ourselves like, yeah, what are we doing here at this round 1 leader pool? It's so tough, man. Round 1 leaders are so tough. Could play matchups round 1 though; those are kind of fun.
Who do I think could do good in round 1? I think Taylor Pendrith 45-1 on the South course is interesting. There's a little shout out there. He pops in a lot of models this week. 1 round. I don't know if I trust Pendy on the weekend, but I trust him in round 1. He can bomb it and hits his long irons good. There's a play for you, Braden. 45-1 Taylor Pendrith.
Solid. I love it. Look at that. We got round 1 picks right here on the spot. I love it. We appreciate you though, Braden. Any other comments or questions you have, just fire them out there. We'll be sure to check them out. And as we look at the rest of this board here, Jack, I know you're pretty much done. You were looking at you kind of made the cutoff there. Sounds like you like some guys there at that 75 number. I don't know if you're actually betting those guys though. Are you on Liston, Rogers?
We're gonna see, man. I have an interesting proposition about my card that I'm gonna go with this week that I think I'm gonna tell you at the end of the show. So we'll get there in a little bit.
Do you want to just quickly I don't have a ton of interest this week in like long shots. I might have one guy like Pendrith is actually a really interesting name, 110-1. Ryder popped up on your little sheet there for that stat that you had. The course, the courses that he did well in last year, that kind of leading up to this, that makes sense for your type of model there. Chesson Hadley was another one I was looking at. He's 175-1. Right now, that's about it. Like, I don't really want to take too many long shots, and I usually do like to, but I don't have a ton of interest this week. Jack, you got anybody a little further down?
Yeah, I'll shout out some names. Maybe I bet one of these guys. I will say about Sam Ryder. People probably forget Sam Ryder, I think, was up 5 on Sunday here last year. He was cruising. And then they interviewed his mom on CBS and he melted down and it was real fucking sad. And that was the stretch of like anytime anyone got an on-course interview or they interviewed someone's family, they went fucking kaputsk on Sunday. Sam Ryder was the start of that last year. But yeah, he's popped in a lot of models this week. I was actually on him last week too, and I didn't love where his approach was at.
I was too last week.
Yeah, so that kind of stunk. Some other
How scared were you, real quick, not to cut you off, how scared were you of Dunlap last week when they were interviewing his parents, when they flew him in?
I didn't even think about it, to be honest. I was just too focused on that creepy guy that was standing right behind his mom. Did you see that?
Maybe I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
Dude, I'll send you a clip. There's just like, this guy looks like his name was on Jeffrey Epstein's list. Like, he was just looking super creepy. I'll send you a picture, dude. I mean, he did it to himself. I'm not making fun of him here. This guy did it to the entire world. So.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Don't tell Jimmy Kimmel, though.
I won't. Yeah. Some other names that I do like down here, though. Ryan Fox, I think, is kind of interesting. Someone who's a bomber that sets up better in major championship type of courses, hits it a long way. I'll tell you what, dude, someone who I haven't seen any love for him this week, and I feel like I'm the only one who I probably won't end up on him, but I'll vouch for him here on the show just so it's kind of my proof that I did.
Can I guess it?
Yeah, who is it?
Justin Suh.
No, it's not Justin Suh. He can fuck off. He can't do anything on weekends, dude. Maybe Justin Suh, Braden, bet Justin Suh first round leader.
Yeah, that's actually that would be where he shines at. Yeah, I've got 2 other guesses, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let you say it.
It's Emiliano Grillo.
Oh, that was not my guess.
I know.
Okay.
Probably because I just haven't seen any love for him, but quietly I think about here, and let me pull up Griot's stats so I can kind of talk about this a little bit more in depth. And he hasn't been like great really ever since he won at Colonial last year, but that was a tougher event. I think he won that. It might have been at single digits when he beat Adam Schenk in that playoff. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like the harder tournaments are always more so set up for Griot. He's always good with his long irons and is someone who can hit it both long and straight off of the tee, which I like. And his putter has actually been rather good. He's lost 3 times in his last 10 measured starts, gained 8.8 strokes putting at the Sony 2 weeks ago, where he finished T7. I don't know. There's 125-1 out there on Griot. He's from Argentina, but he lives in nearby San Diego. Finished, in the top 10 at the Open, can hang with the best of them. I don't know.
By the water.
We are by the water. I think Griot 125-1 is interesting.
I don't hate that. The Grill Master. I actually was not thinking about that at all. I just had to say that. But that's actually a really good call on your part. Another name I wasn't thinking about, Jack, and I love that Braden brought this up because he has the long game. And what do we always say about this guy? If you get a course that needs some distance, he was T9 last week at the Amex.
I know. I think everyone and their mother bet him this week because he had a sick ass Sunday last week. You love Keith. You love Keith.
I always like Keith Mitchell, man. So Braden says here, I have him and Keith Mitchell end of round 1. I think he was talking about who were we talking about before that? I can't remember right now.
If I actually named Pendrith and he already had Pendrith at the end of round 1, that's amazing. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I hope so. Otherwise, it was someone else that you were talking about. But I'm pretty sure it was Pendrith right before Griot. But say what you want, but it's still a birdie season until Phoenix. Tony will take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, though. I mean, it's at least more challenging than what we normally get. So I'll take it. Take our wins where we can get them. Genesis is tough too.
He also says that's not a bad call. I'll put that down too. He's talking about Griot there. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the round 1 leaderboards, but just the tournament itself. I do think Keith Mitchell's a guy that's very capable. We've talked about this a lot. This would be a spot where I don't know what his history is here at this course. So I want to look at that. Like, I don't think he's been here that often, has he?
I don't know. I'll look it up real quick here for you, though. But is there any other names you wanted to shout out? Because this is basically where I'm done, brother.
Nah, man. I absolutely like. If you want to do like a Stewie Sink, make the cut.
My boy.
That's about it.
I was thinking the other day how I really bet Stuart Sink at the 2022 PGA Championship, and he actually was my best finisher.
Nice. That's not what you at all went in the week thinking.
No, but Stewie Sink was like 300-1, and he was playing some good golf at the time. And I'm like, I'm betting my boy Stewie. Keith Mitchell's track record here is pretty brutal, brother. It's a miscut in 2022, miscut in 2021, miscut in 2020, miscut in 2019, T63 in his debut in 2018.
So how many events totally?
5 total events. He's missed the cut 4 of them. Highest finish is T63. But to be fair, I do think this is a good Keith Mitchell track with the way that he can drive the ball.
He's got to play 6 before he can be a winner. That's my rule. So this year he's getting top 40. We're betting a top 40 for Keith Mitchell.
There you go. I like it.
He's got to start inching towards the winner's circle here. So next year I'm going to bet Keith Mitchell. I got a weird little funky little prop too. Speaking of like prop bets.
What you got?
Brandt Snedeker.
Oh, baby. You're hitting the former champs button, aren't you? Justin Rose, Luke List. I mean, if they won here once.
Right, pretty much. No, so it's not even like a crazy. I'm just betting him to make the cut. That's it.
I thought you were
plus
like
140.
Sned's
I found it.
I thought you were gonna take like Sned's top 10.
No, fuck no. I don't think he's coming closer than like 40th. Like he might get a top 40, but I don't think it's gonna be better than that. So I got a plus 140 number on him on a book on PB. No J, just PB points, but he's not golfing well lately, man. Seems to have that feel for this spot though. 16 events, 8 top 10s, 2 wins, 13 of 16 cuts made. Jack, that's an 81% rate, made cut rate. The odds are indicating that he has a far less than 50% chance of doing it. So that's just not true to me. So I think plus 140 to make the cut, I think that's a good bet that I have to take.
Yeah, no, I understand it. I'm looking at Sneds' numbers here at Torrey Pines throughout his career. He was T3 here in 2020 a few years back. He gains, knock on wood, he gains with the putter here every year. It's going to come down to whether or not his approach kind of lives up to it, but you know, he's capable of getting it done on these POA greens, which is always nice. So yeah, I like it.
All right, there we go. You see, you got to ride with me on that.
Okay, remind me.
Tail me on that. You got points bet?
I do got points bet. I got all of them, brother.
All right. Yep. You got to tail me on that. I'll remind you. So yeah, a couple more comments here from Braden. He shot 10 under on Sunday last week. Keith is crazy off the tee too. Yeah. I mean, we agree. I agree with all that. That's what me and Jack regularly talk about here is Mr. Keith Mitchell. So I won't bore Jack anymore by continuing to talk about him. But Braden, you're making some great points there. Jack, before we get into the one and done, you got anything else for us before we wrap this puppy up?
So I guess I can tell you my potential plan that I'm going with. And I think I'm just going to do it. I think I'm only going to bet Morikawa and Homa and just call it. I think I'm going to bet Morikawa, Homa, and
wow.
Yeah.
No day?
No one else.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But I love Morikawa. He was number 1 in my model. I love Homa. He was number 3 in my model. I love him in California. I like betting Max Homa also because, again, knock on wood, he's someone where if he's in contention on Sunday, I know he's got the stones to go toe-to-toe with anyone. He doesn't back down on Sundays. And I'll tell you what, man, I've been having a lot of fucking losers that I've been betting play like dog shit on Sunday, and I'm pretty sick of it. So, yeah, I don't know. I have thought about going maybe Morikawa, Sahith, Hideki list because I could fit all of them in, but that would still be a little bit tough for me just in terms of what I'd get off my ROI with Morikawa. And sometimes, man, we talked about this at the end of last year. Sometimes you just got to ride your gut. And listen, I lose $100 or my weekly, what I usually bet on golf bets. I lose it all the time, you know? So right. I don't think I should be very afraid to lose it in different ways. Yeah, it's scary that I don't have 5 or 6 guys on the board and I only have 2 and I have to rely on them to play well. But fuck, I kind of trust those guys to play well and at least one of them to be in the mix, keeping my fingers crossed. So I feel like that might be the recipe for me this week. Morikawa, Homa, and call it.
Have no fear. Stand on your convictions. You'll be a lot happier that way. And like you said, man, yeah, we throw away stupid money all the time. Like I can't tell you how many $5, $10 parlays I made on NFL Sunday. Like that would just I knew had zero shot of making it. And like here, you have a very calculated, like feel good about what you're betting. Like fine, you lose the money, you lose the money. It's not about that. It's about the process. And if you really believe it's one of those 2 guys, go for it. Like do not just go ahead and throw like $10 on Chesson Hadley for no freaking reason. You know what I mean? Like it's just not worth it. So I actually really like that strategy, Jack, if that's what you're going with this week. You know, we mentioned quite a few names here that are interesting. I know that you do like Luke List. Patrick Rogers was interesting down there lower. A lot of good names here that we do feel good about. But maybe instead of just betting, maybe you can take those guys like top 20 markets or something. There's always that option out there for you. But yeah, with that said, man, my strategy, who did I end up getting to overall? I'll just do like a quick summary of it. Jason Day, of course. I'm passing on Xander. Love the 2 names that you have at the top there, but not betting those guys. I have Sahith Theegala, Luke List, Patrick Rogers, Justin Rose. Right now, that's my card. I may add another one, but probably not. Like I'm feeling pretty good about what is that? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, five groups of or 5 golfers there. So Nothing crazy. I'm kind of in a funk myself, Jack. This is last win I had, I believe, was Tom Kim. So
Doing better than I am.
that's a while ago though, man. Like you know the feeling once you just a few weeks of this, 5 weeks in a row of not winning. It starts to set in a little bit of like, can I pick an outright ever again? So Jack, I'm going to ask you, can we get an outright?
Boy, I need it. I am departing to Mexico on Saturday morning, my friend. I am getting off the plane, hopefully, if all goes accordingly, right about 1 o'clock, 1:15 Central Time, and that should be pretty close to when the leaders are teeing off, man. So there would be nothing I love more than to get into the nice, warm Mexico weather, go sit back, have a couple cervezas, maybe a margarita or two, and watch one of my boys get the job done. Because, man, it has been a brutal stretch to start this year. It was a brutal fall. And I don't think I should be afraid to kind of mix things up or change up the process. It's just 1 week of 40 events that I'm going to bet this year regardless. So go outside the box and try new things. Don't be scared.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, what would be better than hitting an outright in Mexico? Like,
I don't know if that would top Vic, the still Vic final round. I don't know if I'll ever be happier than following Victor going.
True, you were there. You were there.
I don't know if it's going to get better than that, but I'll tell you what, Morikawa or Homa winning with me in Mexico, that money that I'd win off that would get me a lot further than the money that I won off of Vic got me here in Chicago.
Yeah, you're putting a little bit more chat down this week. No, man, that'd be freaking awesome. I'm rooting for you if my bets don't hit. Of course, I want yours to hit. So hopefully we can have a nice little final round there on Saturday. Something to sweat. It'd be nice. We really haven't had that too much of that. At least this last week. It's kind of boring towards the end. I was holding out hope for Hadwin and just never really came to fruition.
The most Adam Hadwin finish ever, man. Absolutely. I literally texted you. I'm like, Hadwin's got a slight bit of hope, but he's got to get cooking. Next thing he does, he makes 3 birdies in a row. I'm like, he's cooking, baby. He's cooking. And then he had a 4.5 footer for birdie on 13. I want to say it was. He missed, had an 8 footer on birdie on 14, went on and missed. And I was like, oh, Adam Hadwin. That's why you only have that's why you only have one PGA Tour win.
Yeah, literally. When you sent me that message, I didn't see it right away. When I saw your message, it was like right before or like he started to choke it down. It was like right when, and I'm like, I was watching it, but it's not the same, because I'm like, I want to feel the excitement with my boy. Like, I couldn't really feel it like with somebody. I'm just like, okay, like, don't get too excited. But here you are getting excited for me, and then everything goes to hell.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't your fault. I'm just blaming you.
It's Adam Hadwin's fucking fault. It's not my fault. Blame Hadwin for missing knee knockers.
No, it's definitely Hadwin's fault. But no, with that said, man, you're up, one and done.
Yes.
So who you got this week?
I just calculated the points as we are heading to or I guess we were in California last week as well, but I currently have 276. You have 354, but fret not. The advantage that I had this time last year was way bigger than this, and you ended up coming back and beating me. So it's a long season. It is a marathon, not a sprint. I had Eric Van Rooyen last week. He finished 25th. Andrew Putnam really fucked you on Sunday. I think he only shot 2 or 3 under in his final round to finish 47th.
Yeah, he was bad that last round.
This week is the interesting one, though. This is kind of the first consideration of using a big dog. Man, who do I want to burn, though, is the real question. I'm going to go with Sungjae, interestingly enough.
Ooh.
Sungjae. I don't know if he can win, but I expect him to play well.
Are you just being nice?
Why?
Because you know who I'm picking.
Oh, are you taking Day?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is the spot.
This is the one spot where I feel most confident in him. I have to. Like, he might not win, but top 10, I'll take that for one and done for sure.
I'm so happy that I kept these sheets from last year. I love going back and seeing who we took at one and dones for this event last year. Funny, by the way, you just love Andrew Putnam at the Amex. You took him at the American Express last year. I don't know if you realized.
I did not realize that.
You took Andrew Putnam at the American Express accidentally back-to-back years. He got 36th the year before, 47th this year. So maybe you don't really.
Why do I love him at the Amex so much? There was something, I don't know. I don't know where my head's at.
we
Who'd you
must
take
have-
last year at the Amex?
Last year at the Amex, I took Siwoo. He got 22nd.
Hmm.
We must have not had a show going on for this last. I might have been in Mexico when this happened last year because I don't have one for this event, sadly. I just have straight from Amex to Pebble and then Waste Management and Genesis. So I think I was in Mexico last year when this went down.
Oh, okay.
So
For
sadly,
the
we don't
Farmers.
have-
Oh, that's right. Because I was like, shoot. I think I've messaged you that. Like, I wanted to use Jason Day this week, and then we
Yeah.
didn't.
I think you're right.
Yes, I get to use Jason Day this week.
There you go. You get him this year.
There we go, man. So you have a great time, Jack. I know you're gonna have a great time down there. If you get it outright while you're sitting there, laid up by the beach or whatever, laid up at the pool.
I got the mini mic that I'm taking with me. The mini mic is going to be coming along with me on walks along the beach. So
Yes,
I'll be doing content stuff still. I'll still be grinding.
Jack
Maybe a little
Bushman
fucked up,
Golf
but
on
I'll be
Tap.
grinding.
Jack Bushman Golf on Tap Adventures down south, down really south.
Oh, and I could show some interesting places too, man, because I'm not going to like Resort World Mexico. I'm going off the beaten path to like kind of a hidden gem type of spot. So yeah, I could probably get some good content out there. Try to post some good
Nice.
stuff while I'm down there.
Yeah, show us stuff that they don't show you on TV. And to see some cool parts that we don't get a chance to even. Most people don't even know about.
For real.
Like, I've never been to Mexico at all, but
Dude, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I think I'm missing out.
If I ever win like a huge fatty golf bet, like 100K, I'm moving to Mexico. 100K in Mexico.
Oh, it goes a long way.
I could do me some good in Mexico for a few years with 100K.
Absolutely. I got people down there too, Jack. Just let me know. Like, we'll have to talk when we get out of here. Maybe you can link up with some of these people down there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they might. I mean, they'll take you in, dude. They'll cook you all kinds of meals down there. They're great people down there.
Hell yeah.
So we'll talk about it. But yeah, Farmers Insurance this week, man. Let's get an outright. Let's get a victory. It's good to be back on the show with you.
Always.
Sign us out, man. Sign us out.
Absolutely. To everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to go and follow our page it's not Golf on Tap, it's On Tap Golf on X. Make sure to go and follow Joey as well at Joey Knows Nothing. You can find me at Jack Bushman too. And make sure to go and check out ontapsportsnet.com. All types of good stuff. Cubs, Bears, Bulls, White Sox, Blackhawks, movie reviews, beer reviews, all the latest of what's going on with the PGA Tour and the world of golf. Make sure to go and check it out. And also, if you think about placing a wager down this week and you're not already a member at BetRivers, go and join. Use the promo code ONTAP. You'll get up to a $250 match with your first deposit. And hey, maybe you can flip that into some good money with an outright winner this week. And maybe you can go on down to Mexico too. But to everyone out there for tuning into the show, thank you very much. We really appreciate all your support. And we'll see you at the same time next week. Crack 'em, lock 'em. Everyone have a safe and good rest of your day. Thank you very much. Joey, you're going to have to close this bad boy out, though. I ain't got the end stream button.
All right. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Bye-bye.